Okay, so gradient wash. This is different than what we've done so far on those. We're going to make it go light on this side, darker towards this side. But we're still going to use some of the same ideas that we're using. I need water in here. And so this is dried, so I'm okay. So I wanted water in here mostly. Still using our wet into wet applications. The tip of the brush is always the pointy part, so it goes into the corners really easily. Alright, so it looks like I almost have this area filled with water again. That's good. And so now I have my puddle to work with. What I want to do on this one is I'm going to take just a light application on this one. I'm going to leave this part kind of white, but I'm going to go here. This is about one quarter of the way in, and I'm just going to put down a little bit of a light application as it comes here like that. Just a little bit of a light application. Remember, it's going to change as we come back and forth. And I'm going to go over 3/4 of this area, and I'm actually going to kind of hold this up a little bit so that the paint will flow downhill on that one, So, and this is just water, and so I'm going to come here and I'm just going to brush along the side where I had that pigment added, and I'm going to carry it across the area so that I have a light application of the paint like that. That's pretty good. So it goes white to light across here. Now I'm going to go grab some more paint. Okay, always test. I need a little more pigment, a little more than that. I want to put a medium coat, so I'm going to go halfway across here, and I'm going to put a medium coat of paint. Remember, hold it so it's at an angle on this. Hold it so it's at an angle. And now I'm going to go here like that. So that's my medium application of the paint. Okay, I'm going to rinse out my brush. This is just water. Okay, then I'm going to come back here, and I'm actually going to, I think I'm going to start in this part again here where the white was. And I'm just going to take my water and I'm going to go across like this, and then I'll probably blend in and catch up with my medium on that. I'm going to take this just a little bit more out here. I wanted some of this lighter value. Then I'm going to come back and get some water. So I'm kind of teasing it a little bit. I push it in there, then I put in, and then I let this kind of flow back into this stuff, back and forth. And then take this up a little bit so it can flow back into the medium area, so it changes values. Now I'm getting a little bit of a puddle down here that's a little bit big, so I'm going to take and I'm going to rinse up, I'm going to blot out my brush, dry it out, and then I'm just going to put my brush in here and suck out the extra pigment. Okay, I'm going to flow it back this way just a little bit. Now it's starting to dry a little bit more, and that's kind of cool. And so I have it where it's changing values a little bit here. Now for the last quarter, I want it to be a good medium dark. And so this last part here, I'm going to put this in like this. And you'll notice, because I'm using wet into wet, when I put it in initially, it spread. It started to blend right into this area. Once again, I am holding this up at an angle so that the pigment will flow downhill and flow towards this edge. Okay. This is just water. I'm going to start up here again, and just at a slight angle, and kind of brush that into here, and I kind of brush that in together so it's smooth. Maybe take and flow this back this way for just a moment, and then like that. So you can start to see that it's creating light, medium, and then going darker on this back edge. Now if I really want to, I'm going to take my brush here and I'm just going to roll it in this green paint a little bit so it's a little bit more goopy. And just along the edge right here, while it's still wet, I'm going to take and I'm going to brush in some of that goopy paint so it's a high concentration of pigment right here along the edge. Now since it is wet into wet still, I still have a puddle. this isn't as traveling as far. It's staying right on the edge, so it's going light to medium to dark over different area. Look, I'm getting it starting to dry here just a little bit. And so I'm going to rinse out my brush, get all the pigment out of it, and I just want to make sure that that dries a little more evenly. And so now I'm just going to take this thing here like that, and I'm going to let it dry at an angle. If you have a prop, like I'm going to take my little water container for right now, and I'm going to stick it under here like this. So the pigment all flows downhill, so it goes from white to medium dark green on those. And this should be a gradient. This is a complicated technique, if you're wondering, on those, to create a gradient effect, but that's how you do it, is by gradually going over and using the water to disperse the stuff out, to smooth it out over those areas. And so that's the gradient effect that we're looking for on that one, and that's cool.